Good day everyone, I am Jera Ganyulon Kanoy and today we will discuss about the consistent and inconsistent simultaneous equations. But before that, we will define first of what is the consistent solution. So we can say that the system of linear equation is consistent if it has either one solution or infinitely many solutions, and if there is a unique solution using the three methods such as the Gauss-Jordan method, the inverse method, and the Cramer's rule, then we can say that this equation is consistent. In addition, if the determinant of a matrix is non-zero, then it is consistent solution. So as you can see here, this is the example of the consistent solution using the Gauss-Jordan method. So the given problem is x plus 2y minus z is equals to negative 2, x plus z is equals to 0, 2x minus y minus z is equals to negative 3. So, to solve the Gauss-Jordan method, always remember the identity matrix, which is the 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and then 0, 0, 1. So, to solve it, we need to change this or to make it into an augmented form or augmented matrix. So, to write it into the augmented matrix, so we need also to write the coefficients of this problem. So the coefficients of this problem is 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2, 1, 0, 1, 0, 2, negative 1, and then negative 3. So as you can see here, ga-separate siya sa left side and then the right side using the vertical form or like this one. So, muna siya Gauss-Jordan method. So as you can see here, ang first column is 1, 1, 2. So, since ang identity matrix man atong basihan, so 1, 0, 0 dapat. So, since 1 naman ni siya, so ang goal nato is ang second row, which is this 1. So, we need to make this 1 into 0. So, to make it 0, we need to multiply it by negative 1. So, negative 1 times 1 plus 1 is equals to 0. Negative 1 times 2 plus 0 is equals to negative 2. Negative 1 times negative 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Negative 1 times negative 2 plus 0 is equals to 2. So, since ang goal man nato is ang second row, so, i-copy lang jud ang first row and then the third row. So, next is the third row. So, as you can see in the third row, 2 siya. So, dapat siya himuon siya 0. So, to make it 0, so, we need to multiply it by negative 2. So, negative 2 times 1 plus 2 is equals to 0. Negative 2 times 2 plus negative 1 is equals to negative 5. Negative 2 times 1 plus negative 1 is equals to 1. Negative 2 times negative 2 plus negative 3 is equals to 1. And then, as you can see, nakuha na nato ang identity matrix sa first column, 1, 0, 0. So, the next goal is the second column. So, the first thing to do, next goal is the row 1. So, this second column. So, negative 2 times 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. Negative 2 times 1 plus 2 is equals to 0. Negative 2 times negative 1 plus negative 1 is equals to 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 plus negative 2 is equals to 0. So, the next goal is the third row in the second column. So, to make it 0, so we need to multiply it by 5. So 5 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. 5 times 1 plus negative 5 is equals to 0. 5 times negative 1 plus 1 is equals to negative 4. 5 times negative 1 plus 1 is equals to negative 4. So, as you can see here in the third column, so 1, negative 1, negative 4. So, we need to make it 0, 0, and then 1. So, the first goal is the third row. So, we need to make it 1. So, to make it 1, so we need to multiply this into negative 1/4. So, negative 1/4 times 0 is equals to 0. Negative 1/4 times 0 is equals to 0. Negative 1/4 times negative 4 is equals to 1. Negative 1/4 times negative 4 is equals to 1. So, next goal is in the first row. So, to make it 0, so we need to multiply it by negative 1. So, negative 1 times negative 1 times 0 is equals to 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. Negative 1 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. Negative 1 times 1 plus 1 is equals to 0. Negative 1 times 1 plus 0 is equals to negative 1. So, the next goal is in the second row. So, we need to make this negative 1 into 0. So, 1 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. 1 times 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. 1 times 1 plus negative 1 is equals to 0. 1 times 1 plus negative 1 is equals to 0. So, as you can see in this, in the right side, so these are the value or the values of x, y, and z. So, x, y, and then z. So, the value of x is negative 1. The value of the value of y is equals to 0. And then the value of z is 1. So, thus, x is equals to negative 1, y is equals to 0, and then z is equals to 1. So, these are the values of x and y. So, therefore, it is consistent solution using the Gauss-Jordan method. So, these are the Gauss-Jordan method. Next one is the solving the linear equation using the inverse method. So, the problem is x plus 2y negative z is equals to negative 2. X plus z is equals to 0. 2x minus y minus z is equals to negative 3. So, same sa Gauss-Jordan method. So, we need to write the coefficients of this problem. But in inverse method, gagamit na ta sa identity matrix. So, sa right side. So, as you can see, na siya difference sa Gauss-Jordan methods. Kay sa Gauss-Jordan method is ang atong gibutang sa right side is katong coefficients diri sa which is the negative 2, 0, and then negative 3. But in inverse method, ang atong gibutang sa left side is ang identity matrix which is the 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So to start it, so the goal is this one. So the second row. So we need to make this 1 into 0. So negative 1 times 1 plus 1 is equals to 0. Negative 1 times 2 plus 0 is equals to 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 plus 1 is equals to 0. So, copy the first column and then third column. So the next is the solving linear equation using the inverse method. So, same sa Gauss-Jordan method, gayus ta sa same sa Gauss-Jordan method, this problem is gihimo agi sulat nato ang coefficients ani niya using the augmented form. So, but unlike sa Gauss-Jordan method, and then so na siya is differences. So as you can see here, ang atong gibutang sa right side is ang identity matrix na. Unlike sa Gauss-Jordan method, is ang atong gibutang sa right side is ang coefficient sa kaning naa dire, which is the -2 and then the 0 and then -3. So so to start it, so we need so atong goal is ang second row. So we need to make this 1 into the 0. So -1 times 1 plus 1 is equals to 0. -1 times 2 plus 0 is equals to -2. -1 times -1 plus 1 is equals to 2. -1 times 1 plus 0 is equals to -1. -1 plus 0 times 0 rather plus 1 is equals to 1. -1 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. So copy the first column and then the third column since ang atong goal is ang second row. So the next is ang goal is ang third row, which is this one. Since 1 naman is sa first column, so as you can see, hapit na siya same sa identity matrix. So ang atong goal is ang third row. So we need to make it 0. So to make it 0, we need to we multiply this into -2. So -2 times 1 plus 2 is equals to 0. -2 times 2 plus -1 is equals to -5. -2 times -1 plus -1 is equals to 1. -2 times 1 plus 0 is equals to -2. -2 times 0 is times 0 rather plus 0 is equals to 0. -2 times 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. So just copy the first column and then the second column. So next is the goal is the row 2. So as you can see here, ang sa second column is 2, -2 and then -5. So dapat nato siya himuon og 0, 1, 0. So to make it 0, 1, 0, so ang atong goal is ang second column, which is the -2. So we need to change this -2 into 1. So to make it 1, so gi-multiply nato siya sa -1/2. So -1/2 times 0 is equals to 0. -1/2 times -2 is equals to 1. -1/2 times 2 is equals to -1. -1/2 times -1 is equals to 1/2. -1/2 times 1 is equals to -1/2. -1/2 times 0 is equals to 0. So copy the first column and then the third column. Next one is the third. So next goal is the row 1. So as you can see in the second column is 2 siya. So we need to make it 0. So to make it 0, so we multiply it by -2. So -2 times 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. -2 times 2 times 1 rather plus 2 is equals to 0. -2 times -1 plus 1 is equals to 1. -2 times 1/2 plus 1 is equals to 0. -2 times -1/2 plus 0 is equals to 1. -2 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. So copy the second column and then the third column. So the next goal is the third row. So -5 siya. So we need to make it 0. So to make it 0, so we multiply it by 5. So 5 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. 5 times 1 plus negative 5 is equals to 0. 5 times negative 1 plus 1 is equals to negative 4. 5 times 1 half plus negative 2 is equals to 1 half. 5 times negative 1 half plus 0 is equals to negative 5 over 2. 5 times 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. So copy the first column and then the second column. So the next goal is the row 3. So as you can see in the row 3, sa third column is negative 4 siya since we need to make it 1 man jud kay ang dapat ani is sa third column is 0, 0, 1. So to make it 1 rather, so we multiply it by negative 1/4. So 0 times negative 1/4 times 0 is equals to 0. Negative 1/4 times 0 is equals to 0. Negative 1/4 times negative 4 is equals to 1. Negative 1/4 times 1 half is equals to negative 1/8. Negative 1/4 times negative 5 over 2 is equals to 5 over 8. Negative 1/4 times 1 is equals to negative 1/4. So copy the first column and then the second column. So the next goal is the row 1, which is in the third column. So 1 siya, so we need to make it 0. So to make it 0 na pod is gi-multiply na to siya by negative 1. So negative 1 times 0 plus 1 is equals to 1 rather. Negative 1 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. Negative 1 times 1 plus 1 is equals to 0. Negative 1 times negative 1 over 8 plus 0 is equals to 1/8. Negative 1 times 5 over 8 plus 1 is equals to 3 over 8. Negative 1 times negative 1/4 plus 0 is equals to 1/4. So copy the second column and then the third column. So the next goal is the row 2. So negative 1 siya, so we need to make it 0. So 1 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. 1 times 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. 1 times 1 is equals plus negative 1 is equals to 0. 1 times negative 1/8 plus 1 half is equals to 3 over 8. 1 times 5 over 8 plus negative 1 half is equals to 1/8. 1 times negative 1/4 plus 0 is equals to negative 1/4. So as you can see in the left side, so na-replace na nato ang identity matrix. So 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. So this is the answer. So para mabala na to nga tsakto jud ang atong answer or to check it, so ato siyang i-multiply sa kaning nasa kilid, which is the negative 2, 0, and then negative 3 from the given problem. So 1/8 times negative 2 is equals to negative 1/4. 3 over 8 times 0 is equals to 0. Negative 1/4 times negative 3 is equals to negative 3/4. So negative 1/4 plus 0 minus 3 over 4 is equals to negative 1. 3 over 8 times negative 2 is equals to negative 3/4. 1/8 times 0 is equals to 0. Negative 1/4 times negative 3 is equals to 3/4. So negative 3/4 plus 0 plus 3/4 is equals to 0. So negative 1/8 times negative 2 is equals to 1/4. 5 over 8 times 0 is equals to 0. negative 1/4 times negative 3 is equals to positive 3/4. So 1/4 plus 0 plus 3/4 is equals to 1. So as you can see in the right side, so these are the value of x, y, and z. So same siya sa Gauss-Jordan method na atong nakuha. So negative 1, 0, and then 1. So the value therefore the value of x is equals to negative 1, y is equals to 0, and then z is equals to 1. So therefore, this equations is consistent. Since we already done solving the Gauss-Jordan method and then the inverse method of the consistent equation or solution, so let's move on to the Cramer's rule or using the Cramer's rule method. So the problem is x plus 2y minus z is equals to negative 2, x plus z is equals to 0, 2x minus y minus z is equals to negative 3. So this one, as you can see in this problem, so we need to write the coefficients of this problem. So 1, 2, negative 1, 1, 0, 1, 2, negative 1, and then negative 1. And then let be sa kani nga side. So negative 2, 0, and then negative 3. So to get the determinant of the a sub 1, so we replace the first column into this to this. So negative, so the given is negative 2, 2, negative 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 3, negative 1, and then negative 1. So to solve it sa a sub 1 or the determinant or to find the determinant of a sub 1, so negative 2 times 0 times negative 1 is equals to 0. So this 1. Di siya makita. So this 1. So negative 2 times 0 times negative 1 is equals to 0. Next is 0 times negative 1 times negative 1 is equals to 0. So we need to trace this. 0 times negative 1 times negative 1 is equals to 0. Next one is 3 times 1 times 2 is equals to negative 6. So diri nga side is ato siyang negative 1 ni siya diri. Nani siya negative diri, negative rather. So 3 times 0 times negative 1 is equals to 0. Since naman siya negative diri, so nahimo siya negative 0. Next is 0 times 2 times negative 1 is equals to 0. Since naman siya negative, so mahimo siya positive 0. Next is negative 2 times 1 times negative 1 is equals to negative 2. Kaya naman siya negative diri, so may mo siya negative 2. So 0 plus 0 minus 6 minus 0 plus 0 minus 2 is equals to negative 8. So in a sub 1, to get the determinant of a sub 1, so we replace the second column into this 1. So the given problem is 1, negative 2, negative 1, 1, 0, 1, 2, negative 3, and then negative 1. So same sa pagkuha sa a sub 1, so we need to multiply it. So 1 times 0 times negative 1 is equals to 0. 1 times negative 3 times negative 1 is equals to 3. 2 times 1 times negative 2 is equals to negative 4. 2 times 0 times negative 1. So mahimo siya 0 since naman siya positive 0 since naman siya negative 3. So negative times negative is equals to positive. So next is 1 times negative 2 times negative 1 is equals to negative 2. 1 times 1 times negative 3 is equals to positive 3. So 0 plus 3 minus 4 plus 0 minus 2 plus 3 is equals to 0. So the determinant of a sub 1 is 0. So next is the a sub 3 or the determinant of a sub 3. So ang atong i-eliminate is ang third column. So the problem is 1, 2, negative 2, 1, 0, 0, 2, negative 1, negative 3. Ay, i-replace rather. So same sa a sub 1 and then the a sub 2. So we multiply the 1 times 0 times negative 3 is equals to 0. 1 times negative 1 times negative 2 is equals to 2. 2 times 0 times 2 is equals to 0. 2 times 0 times negative 2 is equals to 0. 1 times 2 times negative 3 is equals to negative 6. Since naman siya negative, so may mo siya positive 6. 1 times 0 times negative 1 is equals to negative 0. So 0 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 6 minus 0 is equals to positive 8. So next is the determinant of A. So the given is 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, negative 1, negative 1, 1, negative 1. So 1 times 0 times negative 1 is equals to 0. 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is equals to 1. 2 times 1 times 2 is equals to 4. 2 times 0 times negative 1 is equals to 0. 1 times 2 times negative 1 is equals to 2. 1 times 1 times negative 1 is equals to 1. So 0 plus 1 plus 4 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 is equals to 8. So to get the value of x, y, and z, so we need to divide the a sub 1 and then the determinant of a. So negative 8 plus 8 is equals to negative 1. So this is the value of x rather. So the next value, we need to find the value of y. So to get the value of y, so divide the determinant of a sub 2 and then the determinant of a. So the determinant of a sub 2 is 0 and then the determinant of a is equals to 8. So 0 divided by 8 is equals to 0. So this is the value of y. The next value is the z. So to get the value of z, or to get the value of z, so divide the a sub 3 or the determinant of a sub 3 over the determinant of a. So the determinant of a sub 3 is equals to 8. So 8 divided by 8 is equals to 1. So therefore, the value of x is equals to negative 1, y is equals to 0, and then z is equals to 1. So same siya ang nakuha nato sa value sa Gauss-Jordan and then the inverse method o sa katong sa duha ka methods na atong na solve kanina. So therefore, this problem is consistent. And then the next problem is the inconsistent. So when do we say that the linear equation have inconsistent solution? So we can say that the system of linear equation is inconsistent if it has no solution using the three methods such as the Gauss-Jordan method, the inverse method, and then the Cramer's rule. So we can also say that this equation is inconsistent if ang value sa x, y, and z kay dili siya masatisfy sa third equation or sa third row. So we can define it, or we can by solving the Gauss-Jordan method, the inverse method, and then the Cramer's rule. So as you can see here, rather is this is the example of the inconsistent solution using the Gauss-Jordan method. So the problem is 5x negative 2y plus c is equals to negative 3. 10x minus y plus 3z is equals to 0. Negative 15x plus 9y minus 2z is equals to 17. So we need to make it into the augmented rule, or we need to change it into the, or to write it into the augmented form. So to write it, so we need to also to write the coefficients of this problem. So the coefficients of this problem is 5, negative 2, 1, and then negative 3. 10, negative 1, 3, 0. Negative 15, 9, negative 2, and then 17. So as you can see here, so ang sa first column is 5, 10, and then negative 15. But in solving the Gauss-Jordan method, so we need to remember the identity matrix, which is the 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and then 0, 0, 1. So, dapat, ang atong sa first column is mahimo siya 1, 0, 0. Since 5 man siya, so the goal is the row 1. So, to make it 1, so we need to we multiply it by 1 over 1/5 or 1/5, 1 over 5. So, 1 over 5 times 5 is equals to 1. 1 over 5 times negative 2 is equals to negative 2 over 5. 1 over 5 times 1 is equals to 1 over 5. 1 over 5 times negative 3 is equals to 3 over 5. So, copy the second column and then the third column. So, the next goal is the second row. So, we need to make it 0. So, negative 10 times 1 plus 10 is equals to 0. Negative 10 times negative 2 over 5 plus negative 1 is equals to 3. Negative 10 times 1 over 5 plus 3 is equals to 1. Negative 10 times negative 3 over 5 plus 0 is equals to 6. So, copy the first column and then the third column. So, the next goal is the row 3. So, negative 15 man siya. So, we multiply it by 15. So, 15 times 1 plus negative 15 is equals to 0. 15 times negative 2, 5 plus 9 is equals to 3. 15 times negative 1 over 5 plus negative 2 is equals to 1. 15 times negative 3 over 5 plus 17 is equals to 8. So, now okay na nato ang first column. So, 1, 0, 0. So, the next goal is the second column. So, negative 2 over 5, 3, and then 3. So, we need to make this number 3 into 1. So, to make it 1, so we multiply it by 1/3. So, 1/3 times 0 is equals to 0. 1/3 times 3 is equals to 1. 1/3 times 1 is equals to 1/3. 1/3 times 6 equals to 2. So, next goal is the row 3. So, we need to make it 0. So, to make it 0, so we multiply it by negative 3. So, negative 3 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. Negative 3 times 1 plus 3 is equals to 0. Negative 3 times negative 1 over 3 rather, plus 1 is equals to 0. So, as you can see in the third row or equation, so naa siya, so 0, 0, 0 siya. So, dapat in the third column is 1 ni siya diri dapat. So, as you can see in the identity matrix, so dapat siya 1. So therefore, this equation is not consistent or inconsistent siya kay wala siya solution. So, we cannot proceed it. So, 0, 0, 0. So, therefore, this equation is not consistent. So, as you can see in the third row. So, we cannot proceed into the we cannot proceed, or we cannot identify or of what are the value of x, y, and z. So therefore it is not consistent. So next is the inverse method. So same sa problem. So as you can see here, so we need to write the kanang coefficients of this problem. So we separate the left side and then the right side using the vertical bar. But unlike sa Gauss-Jordan method, ang atong gibutang sa left side is negative 3, 0, 17. But in inverse method, we use the identity matrix in the sa left side. So the first goal is the row 1. So 1 5 of times 5 is equals to 1. 1 over 5 times negative 2 is equals to negative 2 over 5. 1 over 5 times 1 is equals to 1 5. 1 over 5 times 1 is equals to 1 5. 1 over 5 times 0 is equals to 0. 1 over 5 times 0 is equals to 0. So copy the second column and then the third column. The next one is the goal is the row 2. So negative 10 times 1 plus 10 is equals to 0. Negative 10 times negative 2 over 5 plus negative 1 is equals to 3. Negative 10 times 1 over 5 plus 3 is equals to 1. Negative 10 times 1 over 5 plus 0 is equals to negative 2. Negative 10 times 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. Negative 10 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. So copy the first column and then the third column. So the next goal is the row 3. So negative 15 man siya. So we need to make it 0. So 15 times 1 plus negative 15 is equals to 0. 15 times negative 2 over 5 plus 9 is equals to 3. 15 times times 1 5 plus negative 2 is equals to 1. 15 times 1 5 plus 0 is equals to 3. 15 times 0 plus 0 times 15 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. 15 times 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. So the next goal is the row 2 sa second column. So negative 1/3 times 0 is equals to 0. 1/3 times 3 is equals to 1. 1/3 times 1 is equals to 1/3. 1/3 times negative 2 is equals to negative 2/3. 1/3 times 1 is equals to 1/3. 1/3 times 0 is equals to 0. So copy the first column and then the third column. So the next goal is the third column. So 3 siya. So dapat siya muog 0. So negative 3 times 0 plus 0 is equals to 0. Negative 3 times 1 plus 3 is equals to 0. Negative 3 times 1 over 3 plus 1 is equals to 0. So same sa Gauss-Jordan method. So we cannot determine or identify the values of x, y, and z, since ang sa third row rather, makita nato nga ang iyang kuan is 0 0 0 ang result. So therefore this equation is not consistent, since in the third row we cannot satisfy the value of x, y, and z, or dili nato siya makuha, or we cannot proceed. So that's why it is not consistent solution or equation. So the next one is the Cramer's rule, using the Cramer's rule method. So the problem is 5x minus 2y plus z is equals to negative 3. 10x negative y plus 3z is equals to 0. Negative 15x plus 9y minus 2z is equals to 17. So, we need to write the coefficients of this problem. So, let A is equals to 5, negative 2, 1, 10, negative 1, 3, negative 15, 9, negative 2, and let B would be negative 3, 0, and then 17. So to get the A sub 1 or the determinant of A sub 1, so we need to change or replace this first column into this 1. So negative 3, 0, 17, negative 2, negative 1, 9, 1, 3, negative 2. So to get the determinant of A sub 1, so multiply the negative 3 times negative 1 times negative 2 is equals to negative 6. Negative 0 times 9 times 1 is equals to 0. 17 times 3 times negative 2 is equals to negative 102. The next one is 17 times negative 1 times 1 is equals to positive 17. Since na siya negative dire, so may mo siya positive. 0 times negative 2 times negative 2 is equals to 0. Negative 3 times 3 times 9 is equals to positive 81. So, negative 6 plus 0 minus 102 plus 17 minus 0 plus 81 is equals to negative 10. So, the determinant of A sub 1 is negative 10. Next is A sub 2. So we need to replace this second column into this one. So, kaning column, there is second column to this one. So, the given is 5, 10, negative 15, negative 3, 0, 17, 1, 3, negative 2. So, 5 times 0 times negative 2 is equals to 0. 10 times 17 times 1 is equals to 170. Negative 15 times 3 times negative 3 is equals to 135. Negative 15 times 0 times 1 is equals to 0. 10 times negative 3 times negative 2 is equals to negative 60. 5 times 3 times 17 is equals to negative 255. So, negative 0 plus 170 plus 135 plus 0 minus 60 minus 255 is equals to negative 10. So, the determinant of A sub 2 is equals to negative 10. Next is A sub 3. So, this column, the third column, we need to change this one. So, 5, negative 2, negative 3, 10, negative 1, 0, negative 15, 9, 17. So, 5 times negative 1 times 17 is equals to 85, negative 85 rather. 10 times 9 times negative 3 is equals to negative 270. Negative 15 times 0 times negative 2 is equals to 0. Negative 15 times negative 1 times negative 3 is equals to 45. Positive 45 since negative times negative times negative times negative is equals to positive. So, next is 10 times negative 2 times 17 is equals to 340 rather. 5 times 0 times 9 is equals to negative 0. So, negative 85 minus 270 plus 0 plus 45 plus 340 minus 0 is equals to 30. So, the determinant of A sub 3 is equals to 30. Next one is the determinant of A. So, 5 times negative 1 times negative 2 is equals to 10. 10 times 9 times 1 is equals to 90. Negative 15 times 3 times negative 2 is equals to 90. Negative 15 times negative 1 times 1 is equals to negative 15. 10 times negative 2 times negative 2 is equals to negative 40. 5 times 3 times 9 is equals to negative 135. So, 10 plus 90 plus 90 minus 15 minus 40 minus 135 is equals to 0. So, to get the value of x, y, and z, so we need to divide we will divide the a sub so sa x is a sub 1 divided by a determinant of a. So negative 10 divided by 0. So wala siya. So error siya or mura jud na iyang makuan. Next is the value of y is equals to determinant of a sub 2 divided by a is equals to negative 10 over 0, and then z is equals to 30 over 0. Since ang iyang gikuan ani is ang determinant of a sub 3 over determinant of a. So therefore this equation is not, or this problem is not consistent, since as you can see in the value of x, y, and z, dili siya satisfy sa ubang methods natong na solve, or like dili siya same, and then na siya kuan 0 ang mga denominators. So therefore it is not consistent. So the problem is not inconsistent solution. So that would be all. Thank you.